Can I have your attention, please? We'll call a meeting of the Palm Springs Planning Commission, September 24, 2003 meeting to order. Mr. Evans, do we have a report on the posting of the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the agenda was posted here on Friday in accordance with state and local procedures.
We have some minutes to approve. These are the minutes of August 13, 2003. Was anybody not present at that meeting so that they have to abstain? This was August 13, 2003. It looks like everybody was present except Mr. Matthews.
Yeah.
So
Move
Mr.
approval.
Matthews will abstain, and do we have a motion?
Move approval.
I'll second that.
All those in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously with Mr. Matthews abstaining. This is the time for public comments. If anyone's here and wishes to comment on any matter before the commission, now is the time to do so. If you're here on an item that's on our agenda, a specific item on our agenda, we would prefer that you hold your comments until that item is called. However, if you wish to speak now, you're free to do so. We would ask that you confine your comments to 3 minutes. Please give us your name and address before you speak, and sign in before you leave. Sign in on the clipboard before you leave. Anyone wishing to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll pass to we do have a public hearing item today. Public hearings are called at 2 o'clock, so we'll skip that matter until 2 o'clock arrives, and we'll start with our architectural approval items. And the first item on the agenda is item number 4, case 5.0866, PD 267, tentative map 30054, application by K. Hovnanian for a final plan development district, including architectural approval of the clubhouse and residences, Sunrise Way streetscape entry plans, and landscape plans for property located at 3700 Sunrise Way North, PD 267, zone, section 36. Staff report.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Commissioners. The item before you is one that a number of you have seen in the past. This Plan Development District was approved by the City Council in January of 2002 and amended in 2003 in January also. There's a total of approximately 27 lots in this subdivision, lots ranging in minimum size from 5,000 to 7,000 square feet. When the project was amended, a number of lots were eliminated so that they could create a large, approximately 6 to 7 acre common area recreation amenity. What we have before you today is both site plans and architecture. The applicant is moving rapidly forward on this. What we would do is call your attention to a couple of items real quickly. We'd like to add to the motion agenda an item F, which would state that no sign approvals are included as part of the final development plans. We're working with the development team to become part of the Building Industry Association kiosk sign program, which provides pretty good visibility throughout the community. And we'll be meeting with them after this meeting to kind of facilitate that happening. In addition, just want to kind of give you a brief overview of the residences. The types of units are proposed include 1,800 to 2,800 square feet single-story construction, and the developer expects to have construction level documents back before this body within 2 to 4 weeks. So that would be final construction plans, as well as final landscape and irrigation plans, hardscape plans, street plans, those types of things. If I may approach the board, I'll kind of walk you through this. For orientation purposes, we have North Sunrise Way, San Rafael, and then the mobile home park, which is here, Palm Springs Country Club here, the Riverside County Flood Control and CVWD Whitewater River Channel here, the Coyote Run Apartments here, and Open Desert to the north. You'll also recall that this was part of a larger companion project, which included a development on the west side of Sunrise in a fashion like this. The applicant is a well-known senior housing builder. They're looking forward to putting a total of 500 units in this area, and they're moving forward with the first phase of the project. This diagram shows the vision of the entry treatment, what they're calling Four Seasons Boulevard, which would be right here, showing waterfalls, walls, logos, and median, and more the waterfalls and plantings. This is happening right at this area. This is North Sunrise right here. In terms of the project site, we have the two separate size of residential product, the minimum 5,000 square foot lots and the minimum 7,000 square foot lots in the lighter yellow here. The recreation area, common area amenities, would be located here. And it's all, just to the north of the fairways of the Palm Springs Country Club. This is the recreation amenities that is envisioned as part of the project. We'd have parking area, larger clubhouse, barbecue, restroom, shuffleboard, bocce ball, tennis courts, drainage areas here. We've got paddleball, handball, horseshoe, a wide range of recreation amenities. This shows the landscape program for North Sunrise Way, which is complementary to the landscape program that exists out there, utilizing the same plants that you're seeing at Coyote Run. At this point, the development team has prepared a conceptual landscape plan. It's gone through review of the design review committee, and when they come back with final development plans, they'll have the specific plant materials called out, and it will again be reviewed by the design review committee. What we've done is we've picked just a small cross-section of the types of units that are available, given limited time that we have today. The clubhouse was revised in conjunction with some of the requirements of design review. Design review had a chance to view it this week and is recommending approval of the package before you today. We have essentially a two-story element inside the clubhouse, but it appears to be single-story. We've got cabanas here and some of the residential products in terms of the unit 501, 502, and 503. Unit 601 is a side entry garage, but we have to caution you that because the lots are narrow, it's not going to fit on a lot of lots, but it is an option that some of the home buyers will have in the area. In terms of the materials, I'll pass around essentially 12 schemes. There is a high-profile roof tile, exposed wood trims, stucco base coats, some with awnings, and then some stonework. It is like a modified S-tile or a concrete tile that is proposed for the roofs here. With that said, the Design Review Committee's primary concerns were for solar control in rear yard applications with eastern, southern, or western exposure. So you'll see that on the motions agendas pretty strongly called out as a condition. In addition, the Design Review Committee was also concerned about the treatment of side front yards, i.e. those conditions where a house occurred on a corner lot. And they wanted to be certain that in those instances when you had a corner lot condition, that there was sufficient architectural definition on the side that's not the primary frontage, but what we call the side front. So we also have a condition on our motions agenda saying that there will be articulated through awnings and other details. With this presentation, staff has no additional information to provide for you at this time. We'll answer any questions. The development team is also present. A number of the members of Kovnanian and their landscape and design team are also present. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Alex. Any questions of staff at this point? Is there anyone here wishing to speak on this item?
We're happy to answer any questions
All right.
that the board.
So we do have a design team here if anyone has questions.
Yes.
Any discussion, motions?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the case 5.0866 for the final plan development district.
I'll second that.
Is that motion subject to the conditions?
Subject to the
All
conditions
right.
in the staff report.
And also the conditions that are enumerated in our agenda here, items A through F.
Appreciate that, thank you. So moved.
Okay, so everybody understand the motion? This will be a motion to approve subject to the conditions of approval, including the additional conditions itemized in our agenda as items A through F. And we have a second?
I second.
Okay, so we have a motion and it's been seconded to approve. Any further comment?
I just want to say that this is an example of really terrific design, and this thing's going to fly through here, it looks like. And congratulations to the design team.
Yeah. And also, we have looked at this at this project now, I think at least 2 or 3 times, so it's been reviewed pretty carefully. With that, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you very much.
We'll move on to item 5 on the agenda. This is case 3.2113, application by Shal Mizrahi for architectural approval for a repaint of the Amato Center at 333 North Palm Canyon Drive, Zone CBD, Section 14, continued from the meeting of September 10, 2003. Staff report.
Thank you, Commissioner and Commissioners. You had previously seen this. Originally, it came back in 8/13/03, and this was denied by Plan Commission. It went back to design review. This is the palette that they showed at design review, and design review, I think, like 2 colors. I think it was these ones. And they wanted to add a 3rd color, take away the purple, and go with something that would match the yellow of the middle building. So this is what they're proposing now. It went from bright colors to more of a neutral earth tone colors.
What are the 2 that they like?
It was one of these. I don't remember which ones, but it was these color palettes. It was this one, and this is their proposal. So these are their colors, and this is the 3rd color that they're going with. Instead of a purplish, it's more of a bronze brown color.
I don't know.
I guess I'm a little bit confused. The rendering that we see on the right, that's not what the proposal is. It's something different from what we see up here on the right.
No, the right is the finished product. This is what they're proposing. This is what was one, and
different from that. This color looks to me like it's different from what's depicted on the building, this color.
I think this color is the block
Oh.
element, and then you have this color for the band up here, and then this color for the main building. That's what it looks like to me. The applicant isn't here. I just submitted this revised to me today.
have a question.
Which are the samples that were on the building, just for clarification? Because it
Oh, what's
wasn't the one in your hand.
No.
No, I don't think those samples are on the building. The yellow's up in the back, but and then they had the original colors. These color palette.
Okay, that's what I thought it might have been.
You know, we were asked to drive by if we had a chance, and I did. And the building in the middle was not bad. However, that's not what I'm seeing over there. So I don't know. I'm not sure what we're being asked to approve.
Well, the colors in the field, when we asked you to go out and take a look at them, may or may not be the final colors.
Okay.
And I'm not going to represent what they put up on the board, that we know exactly which colors. When I went out before your last meeting, the colors that were the brightest were up on the exhibits on the left.
Yeah.
Design review looked at this very carefully, and we had a good contingent of design review people that understand color, and they were very comfortable with the proposal upper right that Gabriel pointed out.
Okay.
Their only question, there was one color that they said, get rid of this one, get something more in this tone, which they've done. Before we grant final approval, I'm going to run it by, a color consultant to make sure it's in the range of what they anticipated. So if the commission's comfortable with the direction that design review is headed, we'd recommend approval of the colors up on the upper right, subject to final staff review.
Okay, but it isn't the dark purple that.
No,
Okay.
the popsicle colors are.
Yeah.
They were taken off.
I have one other concern, since we're, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. Since he's going to alternate the colors on the buildings, I would prefer to have the yellow buildings on Palm Canyon and the purple buildings, or mauve buildings, or whatever they're going to end up being, on the back, because they should put I think that the yellow color scheme is a better color scheme. It's more integrated, and I think it works better on the building. And so they should show more of that to Palm Canyon, and just flip-flop the designation of the colors that the buildings are going to be. And I don't know how the rest of the commission feels, but I know they want to differentiate buildings. That's why they want to have two different color schemes. And I think they should put their best foot forward on Palm Canyon.
Are you putting that in a form of a motion, Madam?
Well, is it the centerpiece would be the yellow, this one, which is the dominant piece on Palm Canyon, isn't it?
I guess the question to that, though, is part of this was so that it didn't look like one big building, to make it look like different buildings. And if we put all the same color on one side, then we're back to what their problem was to start with.
Saying they could still alternate. I guess then the center would change. There's no good solution.
Bulldoze it.
I move that this gets restudied. No, it's a motion.
Just to concur that the applicant did want to break up the massing of the building, and design review also agreed with that.
There's a motion to restudy, and I don't hear a second. Do we have any other motions?
I'm sympathetic to that, but frankly, I'm the last person that ought to be making color decisions, and the fact that it's gone through design review, and this is what they want.
Yes.
In our process.
With final staff approval.
Yeah, I think that is how our process works. So I'd move case 3.2113.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? I'm kind of with Mr. Matthews. I'm not much of a judge of color. If we had a good, strong representation at design review, and they liked it or thought it was fine, I'm kind of inclined to go along with that. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments?
Jeff was there, and
Juraski?
and based on that, he probably beat him up pretty well.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. So we have 6-1 for approval. We're still not at 2 o'clock, so we'll go to the next item in order, item number 6. This is case 3.1389, application by O'Donnell and Escalante for the Desert Water Agency for architectural approval to remodel an existing office/industrial building and construct a new warehouse at 1200 South Gene Autry Trail, M1 Zone, Section 20. Staff report.
Mr. Chairman and respected members of the commission, this is a remodel of Desert Water Agency. They're located on South Gene Autry, just south of Mesquite, and on the east side of South Gene Autry Trail. For anyone that's not familiar with this structure, the proposal is quite simplistic. They're proposing to add 4,500 square feet to a 24,000 square foot building. Everything you see in red is an addition, and you can tell that they're basically mimicking the existing facade. So whatever is being added to comes out with the same elevation, roof line, etc., that was previously there, just popped out further. That's one component of this project. The landscaping in association with that will obviously be removed and be replaced adjacent to the new structure in the relative same kind of shadowing of the existing. There's another element to this, and that is a new warehouse. And the warehouse is 3,600 square feet at 60 by 60. It's proposed in this illustrates it quite well with the photograph. It's on a vacant portion of land that's south of their existing building, west of the existing building. And there's actually a paved kind of looped road around it already that they use because you can see they park some equipment out here right now. There will be parking associated with that. Staff has included as conditions of approval standard parking COAs that are in regards to handicapped, et cetera, that are not illustrated on this but have been included. I think the only concern that staff has is that the landscaping portion of the new warehouse has not been reviewed, and we would like to have the ability to review that at the final landscape plan submission. We have included as COAs the shade elements, et cetera, that we always include as standard parking lot conditions of approval. I should say materials are as existing. So we're having a quality. This is an example of an existing warehouse that they have on site. It will be exactly the same materials. I have a nice sample board here. This was received by design review without any reservation. They approved it without conditions. That concludes my staff report.
Kathy, can I ask you a question on this? How much of this structure is going to be seen from Gene Autry Trail?
Well, you know, when you drive up, you're going. You mean the new structure? You're not going to see it at all.
Okay. Then I do have some questions. Since you yourself did say that it was, pretty quite simplistic, and it was a remodel, et cetera, and the new warehouse. I'm really having a hard time with some of the conditions of approval.
Okay.
And maybe I don't understand them all, so I think I will just ask the question, why would this be subject to art in public places? And why would they be subject to TUMP fees, since it's not going to generate any more traffic?
I can't address the TUMP fee question. Perhaps Mr. Evans can address that. I believe Art in Public Places does include remodel of commercial structures. I went back and looked at the code in regards to that, and I think that that is a standard condition of approval for that. I have my zoning ordinance here, and I can look that up again, but I believe that that is part of that.
Mr. Evans, you have a comment?
Yeah, the Public Arts Ordinance applies to all building permits. So regardless of if they're intensifying the use, adding employees or whatever, all new construction, additions and, to the buildings are required to comply with that ordinance. So it's non-discretionary. If the commission took it off of this condition, the building to permit center's still going to charge them. I mean, they have no choice but to charge them for that fee. So that's non-negotiable. You don't have the option to remove that one. Technically, we don't even need to add it as a condition. We do it as a convenience, so the applicants know. With regards to TUMP fee, the same thing. It's based upon square footage of buildings. It's a building permit issue. So if they add 10 square feet, they pay a TUMP fee for 10 square feet. If they add what they're adding, they pay the TUMP fee for that. Unless they're in the exemptions, I don't think they are. As a quasi governmental agency, if they are, whether you put that condition of approval in there or not, they're either going to pay the fee because it's required or they're not going to pay the fee because it's not required. You don't really have discretion. Again, we put that in as a convenience to our applicants so that they understand that here's some fees that do apply. We don't want you to be surprised. So it's a standard requirement, and I can tell you our building division has been audited every year of the TUMP program. They've never had a problem. They interpret it perfectly every year from inception.
And this is, the conditions of approval have been, everybody seems to be comfortable with them. I'd like to hear from, the applicant and see what.
Yeah, we're gonna hear.
The applicant for this project was actually the architectural firm of O'Donnell and Escalante, and I believe that they're here and they could speak on their behalf, and I know that a representative of Desert Water is also here that could speak on the project.
Good afternoon. I'm Lance O'Donnell, one of the architects working on this project, and we have a representative from the Desert Water Agency here who will like to speak to that issue, and then perhaps I'll come back up later and address some of the landscape issues or questions that came up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. My name is Dave Luker. I'm Assistant General Manager at Desert Water Agency, 1200 Gene Autry Trail. We think we have a very fine design team for this project. We have the original architect, Don Wexler, and also the firm of O'Donnell and Escalante, so we're very satisfied with their capabilities. I had some questions about the fees when I read this conditions of approval package, and quite frankly, I was surprised. I appreciate that it was put in the list so we did know something about it, but it's sort of something that it appears to me that we could suffer from some sticker shock because it's not quantified in any way for our facility. And I would appreciate an opportunity for someone to explain in part and hopefully in total why or how these fees are applicable to our facility, which has been there for 25 years. We are not adding any employees. We're merely adding some amenities to the building. As I say amenity, we're increasing our employee meeting space because we can't get all of our employees comfortably in the facility we have. We're adding some storage space and engineering for engineering project drawings, which we currently do not have. We're adding some space in our IS department to accommodate new billing equipment because we're now billing in a different way where we have bursters and stuffers and all these machines we don't have the adequate space for. We're also adding a gymnasium or workout center for our employees. We hope that will serve to help our workers' comp exposure. And the warehouse facility is simply one that we've never had the capability to maintain large large vehicles. We don't have a building we can get them inside of. So we're going to put a maintenance facility for those large pieces of equipment and store some equipment or water system supplies that currently now sit out in the sun. And we've lost some of those supplies due to the sun rot here recently, and we found that we better do something about it or it's going to continue costing us more and more in the future. So given that, I would like to see these fees explained. I don't understand some of them. I don't know if it's the drainage fee is applied to the entire parcel or if it's part of the parcel. Same with the dust control fee. The dump fee isn't quantified at all. So I would hope that that could be clarified. And our attorney's reviewed that, and he asked me to convey this question. He's uncertain whether or not there's legislative authority that some of these fees can be passed on to a governmental entity, such as Desert Water Agency. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr.
We'll
Evans.
start with the last question that the applicant asked. If you want an answer to that, you need to continue this item, and we'll confer with the city attorney and get you a report back at your next meeting. Right. From the standpoint of the fees, I'll explain them one by one, and I'll also explain again that if we go back in and find the ordinances and programs are written in such a way that the DWA is exempted, regardless of whether you impose these conditions or not, we're going to implement the ordinance because that's where these conditions come from. But let me just start and go through them from the beginning, and if I missed one, please let me know. The art and public places fee is only applicable to new square footage. If we look at the ordinance and confer with the staff and the department that administers this ordinance, and they do not have to pay it per the ordinance, they will not have to pay it. If the ordinance is written in such a way that they would have to pay it, the Planning Commission does not have the authority to waive an ordinance and a fee. Only the City Council could do that, and in some cases, that's even difficult to waive fees for any particular project. So again, if that ordinance applies to this property, they have to pay it. If it does not, they do not. If they're uncomfortable with it from a legal perspective, certainly we'll entertain their legal concerns, either today with a continuance, or they have the ability to take this up in the appeal period of 15 days and determine whether or not there's a problem. And we could sit down and talk to them and show them the ordinances and just double check. So the public arts fee, again, is a fee that all new development does pay, and we'll double check, that authority as I've indicated. With regards to the next one, which had to do with the drainage fee, if you read the resolution that is referenced in the condition of approval, its drainage fee is only applicable to new developed or paved areas. So if they have areas that are currently paved and they replace that with a building, they probably do not have to pay the fee. If they have places that are dirt and landscaped and they put a building or parking on it, they will have to pay the fee, but only for the amount of area that they actually put structures and or impermeable surface on. So that fee for this type of project will be a relatively small amount, as I understand the plan, as far as where the building is and new building is and the future building is. So again, that the condition reads you have to pay the fee. The resolution that implements it says only for new developed areas. And again, if that fee resolution excludes Desert Water Agency, when they come to get a building permit, and in fact, well before they get the building permit, we'll have that answer for them, and we're not going to impose a fee at the staff level that the ordinance doesn't allow us to impose. With regards to the Transportation Uniform Mitigation Fee, if under the CVAG TUMP program, they are subject to that fee. If we, the city, do not collect it from Desert Water Agency, we will have to pay their fee for them. So we typically don't like to get into that. and CVAG audits every building permit issued in the city of Palm Springs at the end of every year, and as I indicated, we have had a perfect audit every year. We assess the fee only where it's applicable, and we assess it right on the money. And they very carefully look at the tump fee program as well as fringe-toed lizard fees. So we do very well on both of those. Again, what we'll do, you have two options, Mr. Chairman. You could continue this, and we could report and research each one of these, confer with city attorney, and report back to you in 2 weeks. Or you could move this along, recognizing that I've pretty well covered the record on my interpretation and the fact that if we double check these and they don't apply, just because you've approved them doesn't mean that we're going to collect a fee where we can't. And we certainly always want to have a good relationship with DWA. We work hand in hand on many different things, so we'll double check each one of these carefully. But that's our report, Mr. Chairman, and we probably, had we taken a little time, met with the applicant, maybe could have resolved this before the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Pleasure of the commission.
Mr. Chairman, I would move approval of case number 3.1389, subject to the conditions of approval.
Is there a
Mr.
second?
Chairman, I'll second that.
We have a motion, and we have some cell phones ringing. Do we know if we would appreciate it if everybody would turn their cell phones off so they're not ringing during the meeting? We have a motion and a second then to approve the item. Any further discussion?
Well, I'm ready to vote, but I did want to suggest under the landscaping that, and I'm not sure how much new parking this affects or whatever, but and we mentioned the drought tolerant ordinance in Palm Springs. I'd hope that DWA would set an example for all of us on what to do with possible shading with desert, friendly drought tolerant plants, and I would encourage that, but that's just a comment.
Any further comment? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Mr. Evans.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if the applicant has the time, Kathy Marks would be more than willing to go over to the permit center, and let's start taking a look at the tump fee right now so that they can get an estimate of what it would be, what category it would be. We do not put tump fees in, as far as exact fees in reports, because sometimes the building square footage changes after you've looked at a project. They may add or take a little bit away. So we don't estimate those fees because they're based upon what the building permit application is. We'll also see if somebody from Public Arts can't come out. More than willing to try to work on this today so that the Desert Water Agency knows where they stand immediately and whether or not they have something they may have to take up with council.
Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion, and that way DWA can know where they stand within their 15-day appeal period, and if they want to make a pitch to the city council, they'll have an opportunity to do that. In the meantime, we can move the matter along and keep the process rolling. We're now past 2 o'clock, so we'll go back to our public hearing item, case 5.0953, application by the City of Palm Springs for zoning ordinance amendment to allow second family unit applications ministerially without discretionary review in accordance with Government Code Section 65852.2 citywide in the RG5, R1, RGA, and R2 zones. Now, this matter was continued from the meeting of September 10, 2003, and I see there's a request that the matter be continued again to the meeting of October 22, 2003. Is that correct, Mr. Evans?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This item is one that we got direction from the Planning Commission. We've had a council member raise questions about it relative to looking at it. City attorney and planning staff are kind of looking at what our options are, recognizing the concerns we've heard from the commission and council member. We'll probably also do a little community networking so people know what the state has possibly done to their neighborhoods with this law and why we're going to try to craft an ordinance that fits Palm Springs as opposed to every other city in California that maybe doesn't have the same circumstances that we do.
Now, thank you, Mr. Evans, and I think we're all concerned about this particular item and would like to make sure that we've looked at this from all angles and and whatever we can do to mitigate its impact, we will do.
Mr.
Is there a
Chairman,
motion then
well,
to?
do we have to open the public hearing, or the public hearing still open and then table it?
Mr. Chairman, you could ask if anybody's here, open the hearing, close it, and then continue the hearing to October 22nd.
Well, let's open then the public hearing on case 5.0953. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on this matter? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move we continue this item till October 22nd.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and second to continue the matter to October 22. We'll need a roll call vote.
Mr. Hokanado?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Ms. Conrad? Mr. Grinch?
Aye.
Mr. Matthews?
Aye.
Ms. Morantz?
Aye.
Mr. Schoenberg?
Aye. That takes us to item 7. I'm going to read this matter in, and then I'm going to have to excuse myself for a conflict. This is case 3.2390, application by Robert Greer for architectural approval for a new single-family residence with guest house located at 523 Potencio Road, R1A Zone, Section 15. And I'm going to have to recuse myself on this matter. This is a residence that is adjacent to O'Donnell Golf Club. I'm on the board of directors and the president of the club, and I'm going to ask to speak on this matter myself. So I'm going to excuse myself. And are there any other conflicts that need to be announced?
Mr. Chairman, I also am a member of O'Donnell and wish to recluse myself on this issue.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, and
Before we go down through all of that, I did confer with the city attorney with regards to whether or not a membership at O'Donnell Golf Course is a conflict. If your membership is just you're a dues-paying member, you're not on the board of directors, you're not going to stand up and speak, you do not have a financial conflict of interest on this. And I went through that with the city attorney in anticipation for this item. With regards to the fact that if you are a member of O'Donnell and you feel you cannot view this item impartially because of that membership, then you should excuse yourself on the basis that you may have a preconceived idea and you can't give a fair hearing. And that certainly is an option.
Is that an option?
That certainly is an option.
Thank you. That is my option.
Well, I'm a member of O'Donnell, and when this land lot was before the commission, I left then, and I don't really want to be inconsistent and hang around now. I'm not a board member, but I am on, is it the advisory board? What's that other board that meets?
Board
once
of
a year?
Trustees.
Board of
Yeah.
Trustees. I'm a trustee, though. I'm not a board member, but
Correct,
I'm a
you're not a board
trustee.
member.
So I'm out of here.
Mr. Chairman, I am a member of the O'Donnell Golf Club, and I own the O'Donnell House. And on the other side of the mountain from this site, and I don't think I could give this a fair hearing.
Don't go far, we're cutting up some paper. So Chairman, any other
conflicts? But I think, are we going to have to draw?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I could explain the procedure that we're going to now go through. It's a procedure that when we do not have a quorum of the Planning Commission because of conflicts, and all the commissioners are here that do not have conflicts, which we have 3, we have to draw lots for one commissioner to actually participate for purposes of the quorum. If that commissioner receives the yes piece of paper that I'm going to cut up, there will be 3 no's and 1 yes. That commissioner does have to participate for purposes of the quorum and may discuss the item and vote on the item as if you did not have a conflict.
I wouldn't call this often, but I call
Madam Chairman?
Yes. What? I'm it.
With that, then, I'm going to turn this matter over to Ms. Morantz to chair the commission on this particular item.
Okay, I guess we are ready at this point for a staff report as soon as John leaves.
Okay. Thank you.
If- Gabriel, if I could give a quick little bit of history on this property. This is a piece of property that has had a fair amount of permit activity over the years. Back in the 80s, there was a single-family home approved on this parcel. It's a large parcel. It was one house, a tennis court, and a guest house. All of the improvements are almost in the same general location that are proposed today. If you look at this property for an estate property, all of those improvements will fall in the same place no matter who looks at it, because the site just has a natural design characteristic to it. You're going to put all three of those improvements virtually in the same place every time, in my opinion, and this is the second design that's come up with almost the same layout. Subsequent to that approval, that project never went forward. It was a spectacular house, it really was. It was probably one of the nicest houses I've ever seen designed, and it just didn't get built. Subsequent to that, the applicant before you today processed and received approval for a subdivision map to cut the property up into lots so you would have multiple homes on it. The applicant is going to abandon that map. He is virtually done with it, so he's going to take that investment and go away, so you're only going to have one home on this particular property as opposed to multiple single-family estate properties throughout the site. I don't recall the number of units, but the engineer is here and he can answer that during the hearing. I think it was about 4, if I recall. Yeah, four units could have been built on this. It's zoned R1A, so half-acre lots, is a possibility, and Gabriel will give you the lot size. It's closer to 9 acres, as I recall. So this is a single-family home. It's an estate home. Design Review looked at it and felt it was an outstanding piece of architecture. They looked at it in conceptual form as well as the drawings that you see before you today. And with that, Gabriel will walk through the presentation, and the property owner and the property owner's engineer are here to answer questions.
Go ahead, Gabriel.
Like Doug mentioned, it is currently 4 parcels. They're going to do a lot line adjustment and make it one lot. You have one, here. Here's a good aerial view of the location of the property. Here's another aerial. It's just south of the O'Donnell Golf Course. And on this aerial, you can see where the building's going to be. This is going to be the main building, which you see here. It's about 8,000 or so square feet. And in this little area over here is where the tennis court's going to be. And that's about 1,000 square foot gym and tennis court. And then we have an additional guest house, and that's about 800 square feet. That concludes the size of the buildings. One of the issues is when building in Hillside is the height of the buildings. This is a big house, and they're complying with the 30-foot height requirement, and will be applying for the AMM. They are under the 30 feet. On the east elevation, which you see here, and this is the pad of where the proposed home, and these are some of the views you will be seeing out of the east elevation. You will be seeing the O'Donnell Golf Course. As far as the materials, most of the house will be glass. That's an actual material board of the actual materials being used. We have smooth stucco, limestone, translucent onyx, aluminum around the windows, and Corten steel. When you're driving in from the dirt, well, right now it's currently a dirt road, but it will be paved. We'll have some sort of paving on it. You drive in, and this is the west elevation, which you see here. Looks like this is the garage. This is the viewpoint. There's a view corridor here, which you see out into the courtyard and beyond. And this is the main building. Once you're in the main building, to access this main tennis court, you'll just walk down, and then you'll come down. This is the top of the hill here, and then you will, here's the better view, and then you'll walk down the stairs, come up here, and go into the main building and play tennis. The tennis courts, as we see right now, if they would want lighting, it'd be a CUP, but right now they do not show lighting being proposed. Same with the gym area and the guest house. On their site plan, they show a kitchen, and they require CUPs if kitchens are added, but right now they would be approved, part of this approval without any kitchens. We do have floor plans, if you'd like to take a look at those. Here's some more pictures of the site, and this is where the tennis court will be located. And this is the second floor roof plan and main house site plan or floor plan. Any questions?
You showed on the other map the area that sticks out from the mountain. Can you go back to those other plans and tell me how much that sticks out and how high that is there?
Which area are you speaking of? How high it sticks out. Oh, that point? That point would be probably the east elevation. That's what you'd be seeing from the golf course. And this is the eastern elevation. They show 21 feet to here, which would be, too short, that lower corner of the home. But then beyond that, it goes on, seven feet higher than this. So 28.25 feet from this point, natural grade.
Gabriel, what were the recommendations from design review today? What was their conversation about the project?
This had been a pre-app. This is when I saw it and took over, and they recommended approval as submitted. And there hasn't been any changes. This is what they originally submitted and approved it. The home does step up and down, and it's hillside. It's not just one level flat, and it's not a big mass to look at.
Go ahead, Mr. Wright. Did you have a comment?
No.
Okay. although this is not a public hearing item, I know that there are some people in the audience that would like to comment on this. So at this time, anybody that would like to comment on this item, please come forward.
Is this on? Yeah. My name's John Schoenberger. I live at 760 Sierra Way, Palm Springs. And Madam Chairman and members of the commission, I'm here today to speak as a member of the board of directors and the president of O'Donnell Golf Club, and to express on behalf of O'Donnell Golf Club our opposition to the design and layout of this residence. By way of background, we did see this residence, some of these schematics and plans were submitted to the O'Donnell Board of Directors about 6 or 7 months ago. And at that time, the board voiced objection to the size and layout of this home as it affects O'Donnell Golf Club. And I was not aware really until Monday that this matter was coming before the Planning Commission. I had been watching for it, and I missed it when it went to design review. I may have been on vacation. But I did see it this morning, and I did have a chance to look at the plans that have been presented, and they're basically the same. At least I can't see any difference from the plans that were presented to the O'Donnell board 6 or 7 months ago, and to which there was serious objection. Our concern is with the visual impact of this residence on the golf course and the surrounding area. As shown by the diagrams, this house will be situated on and it's hard to tell from the diagrams, you really don't get a good perspective, but the home will be sitting on a promontory that's right above the O'Donnell Golf Course and overlooks the heart of the golf course. On the north side of the home, looking at it from north to south, on the north side of the home, or the north side of the home, overlooks the third and fourth holes of the golf course. And on the east side of the home looks directly over the fifth tee and the fifth hole, and then out across the sixth hole and the eighth hole. This residence will also be very visible from a number of vantage points downtown, particularly along Baristo and Alejo, and other parts of downtown. This home will be very, very visible. There are 3 exhibits that I put on your desk there that I would like to draw your attention to in particular. And down in the right-hand corner, I've marked them A, B, and C. And with reference first to Exhibit A, this shows the elevation, the north elevation of the home, looking from north to south across the third and fourth holes. And there's another better picture of that particular elevation up on the board that gives you maybe a little better view of that elevation than does the photocopy of the picture. But the element of the structure that rises dramatically above the rest of the structure and sort of looms over the golf course is the master bedroom suite of the home. And it's this particular element that causes us the greatest concern. Exhibit B, which is the second of the 3 exhibits that I put on the table this afternoon, has 2 elevations on it, and the top elevation is this north elevation at the top of the page, and this is the same elevation that we see in Exhibit A and that's on the board. And I measured, you'll see there a highlighted line, and we measured that from the scale that's on that page. And the height of the building at the point where it's highlighted appears to measure from our scale about 40 to 45 feet from the pad level. And that creates the extraordinary height of the home at that point. The next diagram, Exhibit C, reflects another of our concerns. And this diagram shows the layout of the site from above. So this is looking down on the site. And it appears that the corner of the building that again is marked with the highlight sits on the property line with no setback. And I visited the site this morning with another member of the board, and it looks like the footprint of the building, as best we can tell from walking the site, that the footprint of the building goes right to the edge of the promontory on the north side and the east side, with very little or no setback from the edge of the promontory. Our concerns are that the structure is too large for this site. This is really a very, very large home, 8,000 plus square feet. If I recall right, it was we were told that it was a 10,000 square foot home. So I don't know quite how big it is, but it's a very, very large home on a relatively small pad. Even though there's a 10-acre site there, the pad itself is not very large, and this home really fills that pad and all the way to the very edges of the promontory as we see it. The home, from our review of it, does not conform to the code with respect to setbacks, and it does not conform to code with regard to the height of the home, particularly in certain areas of the home. And this home just lacks continuity, which is what the ordinance says. It lacks continuity with the surrounding development. It just does not fit into the golf course, and will have, in our view, a very negative effect on the golf course, given its size and its height and its location on this pad. It is difficult to get a clear picture of how this home will sit on that site and affect its surroundings without actually going out and looking at the site itself. And months ago, we asked Mr. Greer to stake or mark the corners of the home so that we could see exactly where the home will sit on this pad. And we also asked him to put up story poles so that we could see the height of the home and its visual impact on the golf course. And these things were not done. I went out there today hoping we would see some of those markings, but they're not there. And again, we were caught a little bit by surprise that this thing came up today. I was not expecting it. It's O'Donnell's position that the main house should be reduced in size to fit this pad. It should be pulled back from the edges of the promontory, and it should be reduced in height to comply with the code. If the and granted that this is architecturally it's a very, very attractive home, and I can understand why design review may have approved it, not understanding or being familiar with the site on which this home will be built and its effect on the surrounding area. It's our request that the commission deny this application. If the commission has thoughts of approval, we would urge the commission to ask the applicant to stake or mark the corners of this home so that we can see exactly where it will fit on the pad, and to put up story poles so that we can see visually the impact this home will have both on the golf course and the surrounding area. But as it sits right now, given its height and the way that it's situated on this pad and the way it looms over the golf course, we would ask the commission to not approve this application. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schoenberger. Anybody else wishing to speak on this item? Please come up and state your name and sign your name on the clipboard, please.
Members of the commission, my name is Robert Greer. I'm the owner applicant. Live at 2638 Kings Road East in Palm Springs. In 25 years as a trial lawyer, I've learned that to say less is better, but I feel incumbent on myself to explain to you a little bit about what I perceive to be the history of this project, and also I believe explain some false disingenuous statements that Mr. Schoenberger has made before this committee. But let me start with this. I'm not a developer. I'm a home builder for my...
Can you talk into the microphone?
I'm sorry. I'm not a developer, so I don't have the privilege of knowing many of you people. But when my wife and I moved to Palm Springs about 5 years ago, we found this property, and I thought it was a magnificent property. Before purchasing it, I did a lot of due diligence on the property towards the aim of subdividing it. And the subdivision was for personal economic reasons, hoping that it would defer the cost of a home that I wanted to build on it. During this time, I hired the best civil engineer in town. I met with a grading company that I had known for 25 years and represented his father. I asked all of these people their impressions and thoughts about the project. I went and met with Mr. Evans, reviewed with him my ideas about it. I met with representatives of the fire department and other community people. I met with your mayor. I explained to them my idea of a modernist mid-century development of 4 homes on this pad. I was met with optimism at every stage. So I bought the property and started the subdivision process. The subdivision was approved. It was approved by the city council, and with the mayor making a comment that he thought it was going to be a world-class project, or a dynamic project. After meeting with my architects, walking the site, spending a lot of time reviewing different proposed plans, I decided that 4 houses on this property, albeit 10 acres, it wouldn't work. There's specific little pads that would accommodate different homes, but basically it just wouldn't look right. You'd look up there and you'd see one big pad, and you'd see other houses, and it would just, I thought, it destroyed the whole beauty and isolation of the lot. So I went back and said, listen, I'm not going to build, I don't want to subdivide this. I'm going to build my one house. And so I scrapped everything, and I started working with my architects to design a house that was a mid-century type architecture that Palm Springs is now famous for. And we kind of used as the nucleus of this the Nutra Design Kaufman House. And I know the owner. As a matter of fact, the owner of the property has the adjacent hillside. He and I have worked very closely together in designing the house, in designing how it would look from his elevation. how it would impact the easement road coming up on his property and so forth. So we came together with the house that you see right here. But before we talk about this house design, it was mentioned that on 2 prior occasions, this lot was approved by Palm Springs for the development of a single home. Now, contrary to what Mr. Schoenberger says about I'm not sure what he says, but contrary to that the house is not located in the right spot on the lot and it goes all over the hillside, where this house is proposed is the exact location of the 2 prior applicants. Not only that, the prior house was almost 15,000 square feet, the Kohler residence. It was a 2-story house, a huge 2-story house, and it covered the exact area that we're talking about. Not only did O'Donnell not object to this house, but they granted Kohler an easement to put utility lines across the golf course. Mr. Schoenberger signed the easement. They were in complete agreement with development of the Kohler house. The only difference between the Kohler house and this house is that this house blends into the hillside. You know, it's designed so that you hardly see it from any place else. Neutral colors, the slope builds into the hillside and so forth. The Kohler house was much bigger and it was 2-story all the way around. So it was, Madam Chairman, can I just walk up to the board for just 1 second and point something out?
Yes, but you'll have to take a microphone. That one up there, please.
Watch your step, Bob.
Thank you. Basically, this was pointed out, and I found this at home. I've never used it before. Okay, but the slope of the hillside, this is the top of the mountain here, okay, and this would be, you know, Palm Springs. The slope of the mountain goes down like this, okay? This part of the house, this is the entrance to the house. This is the highest, this is where you first come in. Its elevation is far higher, obviously, than this elevation. The only area that is 2-story is a single bedroom, and it's located right here, which is right about in the center, and you can see that the line, even though this is 30 feet high, it's going to be within whatever the code requirement. If it's 29.5, whatever it is, that's how high that'll be. But you can see it's not sticking straight up like this. I mean, it kind of goes with the gradual decline of the slope. You can see it like here. Now, the bad picture that I think that you were looking at is the house right here. Okay. Now, this shows this big thing sticking up off the roof. Well, as you realize, this house isn't here right now. You know, this is you know, these architects can do crazy things now with these graphics, but this is just something, a graphic that's been placed on an existing site. You know, there's no landscaping here. I mean, we could put a tree here. We can do all kinds of things, I think, to mitigate that structure. But again, it's only that one part of the house, contrary to the previous homes that were approved that were 2-story all the way around. I'd also like to point out, and I don't know this for a fact, but Mr. Schoenberger is I believe making representations that the entire community of O'Donnell is against this golf course, against this project. I talked to Mr. Finstra on Friday or no later than Monday of this week, and so I guess Mr. Finstra didn't tell Mr. Schoenberger, but they knew about it then. And I asked him right on the phone, do you have any objection to this house? And he said no. As a matter of fact, he suggested that we work out some kind of an accommodation where I leave my tennis court lights on so that the O'Donnell members could play the 4th hole at night. You know? Now, he did that tongue in cheek. So, but he didn't, I don't. Planning indicated to you that when Mr. Wright asked what the design review people thought about this, it's true. They did approve it. They approved it unanimously. they approved it with two of the architects saying that it was, quote, a world-class project. This is, in my opinion, a world-class house. This is a house that all of Palm Springs will be proud of. I'm proud of it. And I just know from the designs I've seen that people will like this house. It blends into the mountain on O'Donnell. It's not going to impact the membership of O'Donnell in any way, and it's consistent with all of the other plans that have been proposed. In fact, there is, if that property is going to be developed, there is no other place to put that house. That's the only place, okay? The conditions of approval are all acceptable. I mean, I don't know a lot of the engineering issues, but Mr. Sanborn has indicated that he's worked with different representatives, and they're all, everybody's in agreement on it. We're going to have an entry that's depicted on one of the diagrams at the bottom of Potencio. The idea of the project is to leave virtually everything in its natural condition. There's not going to be, we're not building parks and things like that. Everything will be left natural except for the immediate area where the property is, it will be built. I admit I did not go out and mark the site as Mr. Schoenberger suggested. I have gone to 2 or 3 board meetings at O'Donnell. I have tried to placate them in every way possible. I explained the second floor issue to my architects. They have resituated it slightly. They are convinced that when the house is built with the landscaping, that will not be an issue. And that's all we were able to do on that. Laying something out, we still have to do a grading plan as part of the conditions of approval. That's the time when the exact site will be laid out and marked accordingly. I don't have anything else to say. I think I've spent a great deal of time and energy and some money on the parcel map application. I think I've made the right decision in abandoning it. I will, as part of the conditions, I will abandon the parcel map, but it'll probably be a return to acreage rather than a lot line adjustment, but I don't think that's an issue that the committee is really concerned with, just knowing that it's going to be a single-family residence. I apologize for running over and going through this catharsis, but if any of you have any questions regarding the project, I'd be more than happy to attempt to answer them. Other than that, I think you have everything before it.
Thank you, Mr. Greer.
Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak on this item?
It's way back, yeah.
Madam Chairman, members of the commission, John Sanborn, Sanborn A&E, Palm Springs. I've got some mundane technical things. Condition, if you look at your conditions, number 38, the access road dimensions. I have met with the fire marshal, and he said that should be an access driveway, and with that, he will allow an 18-foot rather than 20 feet. I think you can talk to the fire marshal about that. And he'd already approved the road we had for the 4-lot subdivision, and we'll be using the same basic design, and he was very comfortable with that.
Mr. Sanborn, which item was that again?
That's item 38 under fire.
Thank you.
On that same page, down under engineering, Potencio Chino Drive, items 3, 4, and 5. I did discuss this with the city engineer's office. Inasmuch as this is not a subdivision, it's only a driveway for a single-family residence. The issue of curb and gutter and a knuckle is, number one, the knuckle will not work because we don't own the land. We only have an easement to Potencio Drive. We don't have a full street width, so we cannot build, quote, a knuckle. As far as curb and gutter, Again, we're requesting only a standard driveway approach be allowed. That's the last of my questions. Mr. Evans answered the one about the flood fees, so I think I'm clear.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Al?
Madam Chair, maybe I make a suggestion, and you might want to ask the applicant, so that we don't end up with something that's appealed. I would maybe suggest that you continue this item for 2 weeks. Let us sit down, let the staff, sit down with O'Donnell and the applicant and the plans, so we can go over them in detail, talk about the building setbacks. I'd like to show O'Donnell the 2 previous approvals on this property. They're the exact same pad location. One house was, as I recall, about 8,000 square feet. I remember the applicant by name because it was the first unbelievable house I had ever seen as a planner in Palm Springs in a design. It was about Neville Price submitted it, a New Zealander. Mr. Kohler submitted a 10,000 square foot house, might even been almost 11,000, same location, same height, except that one was all 2-story, as I recall. So as I indicated in my opening remarks, everybody that looks at this site for a house is going to come to this exact location and say that's where the house has to be, because it's the natural location. But I think there's some issues that, in 2 weeks, we might be able to work out. If the commission would like story poles put up, that's certainly within your purview. We've done that before in a 2-week continuance where you ask a story pole to be put up, the highest part of the house. That can be done, and then we let people know when it's there. My only suggestion is if you go out to look for it, bring binoculars, because you won't see a pole very easily, even if it's sticking up 20, 25, 30 feet from where you can see it from public areas. Certainly you could see it closer to the golf course. But that might be a good option. The other one, Madam Chair, if the Commission's pleasure is to move forward today, I would ask that you continue the item, or excuse me, take a brief recess. I need to check on one matter with regards to conflict of interest before there's full Commission discussion.
Okay.
So it's the pleasure of the Commission on either a continuance or to continue. If you continue, I need a brief recess to consult with the City Attorney.
I'd make a motion that we continue it. I think that's the best way to work it out, is to get everybody together with all the prior plans and put story poles up for everybody, the members of O'Donnell, as well as themselves to see. And it would probably resolve a lot of problems. I think this is the least of the problems that would have been before with what was already approved before as far as size-wise. And if they split it into 4 lots, so you'd have 4 homes. It's a very nice looking house. I see the issues with O'Donnell that, the being too close on the property line or overlooking their areas that, I think a good meeting and plans would resolve a lot of the problems.
I can second that. I guess just a couple of things. Again, I agree with the story poles. Setting the corner marks, that's technicalities. It's set exactly where it's supposed to be. But we've been it's been ingrained in this as far as hillside development, what we're going to build. It's not that it's not a very classy structure. I've got a concern because of the second story, and it is in your face. So I'd like to see the story poles so that I can look at that. Is there a way to look at the design, maybe to push that further back in? What I see is Lot 4, which had to have had some type of a pad space. Can this thing be tucked a little further back where, yes, it is not the premier spot, but it takes it away from the promontory where you still got the view, but it's more infused into the mountain rather than sitting up and sticking up, so that that second story is more absorbed into the hillside rather than being the prominent feature of the site.
And I think we certainly can come back and answer those questions today, or if there is a continuance, we could certainly, take a look at those. Anytime we have a hillside situation and you've got two parties, the council really wants us to try to work things out before we get to a point where there has to be an appeal. And I think 2 weeks would be beneficial to be able to work this through, because I think there's good points on all sides, and I think that the site design just needs to be staked so somebody can see the corner and then the maximum height, because in this building design, they did try to tuck the two-story, back away from the edge. So it is, at least in the middle of the house. But it's Commission's pleasure.
So you made that in the form of a motion, Mr. Hookernadel?
Yes.
Okay, and we had a second? Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we will continue this for 2 weeks.
When they do set up story poles, could they set poles at where the front corner of Question would be?
What we'll probably ask them to do is put them on the front two corners, and then one in the center of the two-story element.
Thank you.
And that way you get a feel for the edges, the front edges, and then also the tall portion of the building.
And at this point, maybe it's a good idea, we'll take a 5-minute break.
We'll resume the meeting and call the meeting back to order. Move on to item number 8, case 3.2346, application by Paul Sharp for architectural approval for a new 5,581 square foot single-family residence located at 587 Camino Calidad, R1A zone, section 22. Staff report.
Mr. Chairman, Gabriel Diaz will give this staff report, and we'll try to answer any questions when he's through.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. This is a single-family residence. It meets all the code requirements. It is hillside, and it is under 18 feet. The applicant proposed it as a 19-foot home, but would rather go with the 18-foot high. And this was the element that was over 18 feet. And this is superseded, but this materials is what has been approved and what they're using. Design review recommended that all the roof angles match and it be smooth stucco finish. It's off Camino Calidad, Rove. Okay, you go up Ramon, you pass Palm Canyon, and there you go.
I was in a total opposite location.
There's a, yes, the next one, there's a home here and there. That's the next one up.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, big time.
That applicant came in and had looked at these plans and was okay. He was the only person in the neighborhood who came in and took a look at these plans. Design review recommends approval. We're using 2-piece clay tile, smooth stucco. The landscape was revised. The only reason it was revised because of the horse easement. They did not show that on the original approval. Superseded, revised plan, same plants. And in the conditions, we.
Excuse me, Gabriel.
Yeah,
I
excuse me.
have to abstain on this matter. We own property within 500 feet of this.
Yeah, you were on a roll
Sorry.
there, Gabriel. But Mr. Hokenadel then will excuse himself, and we'll let you get back on your presentation. Yeah.
All right, one of the main conditions in our conditions of approval was we did extensive field research and grading plan research of the plans that or homes have been completed in the area, and staff recommends that applicant drop pad from 531.5 to 530.5. That's the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriel. Any questions of staff?
Mr. Chairman, I'd move approval of case 3.2346, subject to the conditions in the staff report, including the change in grading to 530.5.
I'll second that, just with a little comment that I could not find that street anywhere, and I'm really sorry I couldn't. I couldn't find it on a Thomas Brothers map. I couldn't find it. Even my GPS didn't have it, and I'm sorry that there wasn't a little map included so I could have seen it ahead of time, but it still looks like it meets all of the criteria.
Any further discussion? Do we have a motion? We have a motion. And we have a second. We have a motion and a second.
Yeah.
Hello. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. With one abstention, Mr. Hokenadel. We'll move on. Case number 9. Item number 9, case 3. We'll wait for Mr. Hokenadel to return. This is case 3.2387, application by John McClure for architectural approval for a new hillside single-family residence located at 841 Via Olivera, R1A Zone, Section 3.
Mr. Chairman and respected members of the commission, this is another single-family home on a hillside property. Consequently, it is going before you. It's located at the corner of Via Olivera. It would be the south and west corner of Via Olivera and Leonard. This. Oh, okay. Here's Monte Vista. You go on down Olivera, and you're going to end up on North Palm Canyon. So you take a. There's actually not a site map associated with this, except the. Oh, okay.
You have to close that is the.
It's right at the end of Leonard Road.
Hold on, right next door. Let me show you where it is. You're out of here. This house is right there,
Yeah.
and that's going to be 100, 200. You're
Out there.
out here.
Another quickie.
Explain your.
I have to abstain on this matter. We own property within 500 feet of this.
You have kids we can marry or something?
There we go. The basics of this home are there's 2,581 square feet of proposed. The lot is 12,632 square feet. It meets with all the property development standards for that zone, with the exception of the setback on the Villa Olivera side, which represents a side setback on a collector. That should be 20 feet. So consequently. It's actually part of an overhang and balustrade that support, or column that support the overhang, but they infringe on that setback. So administrative minor modification will have to be processed and approved subsequent to perhaps an approval here from the commission. That's also listed as a condition of approval before you. The height of this house is 16.6. This went before design review as a one level. Was recommended restudy to please be sympathetic to the slope. So consequently, it has been redesigned. This is a street elevation, which gives you an idea. We asked for this as a point of interest to really be able to understand how this would appear from the street. You can see this is the garage. Actually, you're actually driving down, and then the house is now going to step down at 1 foot intervals. We've had all the neighbors were notified in regards to this house. I've had a response back from all but 2. One was negative. All the others were very positive for the design and the elevation. I'll entertain any questions.
Any questions of staff at this point? Anyone here wishing to speak on this matter?
Mr. Chairman, I'd move approval of case 3.2387, subject to the conditions in the staff report.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and second to approve case 3.2387. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously, 1 abstention. Next item, number 11, Commission Work Program. Mr. Evans, anything to report on that item?
Mr. Chairman, on the work program, I'll hit all of the items listed here very quickly. General plan update, we have a steering committee meeting tomorrow, I believe. And yeah, I'll be there. You gonna be there?
It is tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
Yeah. The key issue that we're going to work on tomorrow with the group is a visioning statement. There's a subcommittee that looked at developing a vision for the general plan, and they've developed a process and a presentation. So tomorrow, we're going to put the committee to work in small subcommittees. We're also going to go through a number of other items, and I think you may have the agenda. If you don't, we'll start giving you the agenda for the subcommittee meetings. We're going to get a little bit bogged down a little bit with Larry Menez's departure to the city of Highland. Larry's our principal planner who is working on this and really running the program. So Jing Yu and I and Matthew Fesky are going to take this over and keep us rolling through the process. But we should have a good meeting tomorrow, and everybody's going to get to wordsmith a lot. I'm sure we'll develop a few headaches as we go through that. From the standpoint of council cabinet meeting, we have one coming up in October. So think about things you'd like your chairman to report. I don't remember the exact date, but it's one of your planning commission days or the middle day that you don't have a meeting. Section 14 master plan, we're working on documents to move that into the hearing process, and it's my understanding that we're not too far off of calling a Tahquitz Creek Resort subcommittee meeting. We're working with the applicant on a process and an overall land plan, and then we'll have a meeting. So we're getting pretty close on that. That completes our report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. City Council update.
Let's see, this evening the City Council is going to discuss several items that have planning-related issues. First is they're going to discuss taxi sign regulation. The Taxi Association group would like to address the City Council, and then I'll give the Council a quick overview of current ordinance and the Commission discussion at your study session. The Taxi Committee is asking that the City Council change the ordinance. So that'll be a discussion item for Council and possibly some direction. From the standpoint of next item, the Convention Center update relative to really time schedule and some key direction points relative to how quickly we build it and what type of schedule we go through having to do with contracting and how do you fast track a project like this. The next item is a discussion of design review. I'm going to give the council an update on the design review ordinance. I've drafted it. It's going to be on your study session next week, and we'll give you copies of that draft ordinance. And what, in looking at it, what we've done is we've addressed it in the architectural review part of the zoning ordinance as well as the hillside ordinance. And we've basically taken the outline that we've presented to the commission and now codified it. It's the planning staff version. We still have to run it through the city attorney, but we want to brief the council on that tonight. As an addition to that, we are going to talk to the council about the amount of work that ordinance brings us. In every measure that we've looked at year to date, number of commission items, year over last year, year's numbers, year to date, number of permits in planning. Overall, we're on track to meet or exceed next year's numbers. Discretionary permits, we are over last year's numbers already, and we still haven't finished the calendar year. We're a little tired, and we're going to talk to the council tonight about if you want us to maintain the level of service that we have and meet your expectations and community expectations, we need more resources. And if we don't, I'm going to lay out some options to change what we do so that staff can do everything at a high level, but less of what we're doing. And those are things that have to be done ordinance-wise. So we're going to talk to council about that, and the assistant city manager is going to talk to them about a staffing proposal. Fees to date were over last year, and I would like to tell you, I have an announcement, breaking news. Well, it's not that. The public record reports as of yesterday, for August, the city of Palm Springs is #1 in the Coachella Valley in building permit valuation for the first time in I don't know how long. Mm-hmm. We're ahead of La Quinta, Rancho Mirage, Indio, Indian Wells, Cathedral City, Palm Desert, Desert Hot Springs, and Coachella, with a total of $23.4 million for the month. It's almost all single-family residential. Just to give you an idea, last year we did $6.4 million in August. So a pretty good jump. Building department's way over last year's numbers. We're having a really good year. Everything that they do starts here. So you're starting to see the things actually hit the ground that you've been working on for the last 6 months to 2 years. But I've got that report and the material that we're going to go over tonight for the commission. And again, this will be your staff report for next week's study session. So if you want it to come to you with the agenda, just leave it at your place today and we'll get it out on Friday with your agenda. Council last week approved everything that you had approved. I didn't bring my notes, but everything the commission had been working on is going through. That completes our report, Mr. Chairman. Thank
Thank you, Mr. Evans. And Mr. Evans, you might, we're a little early today, but you might just take a couple of minutes here to explain to our newer commissioners what the City Council Cabinet meeting is, how often it occurs, and what the agenda is, so that they understand that meeting.
Yes, the City Council Cabinet is a forum that occurs quarterly. And it's a forum of all of the boards, commissions that the council has appointed. Their chair, vice chair, or designee comes to the council cabinet. They meet with the city council. Typically, we discuss various issues of community interest actually on the agenda. You know, and maybe downtown improvements are the hot item for that quarter. We'll have a discussion on that or a presentation to allow all the commissions the opportunity to see it. And then each individual commission makes a presentation on what's current with their commission, what are the issues. And then we also, as we get closer to budget season, sometimes commissions have budget requests that may be different than staff's requests. Or we use the commission to carry the water for us. That's what usually happens. Commissioner Hokenadel has been there on the Village Fest board and has made numerous presentations at council cabinet meetings. But it really is a different forum to have everybody sitting in one room and hear from all the commissions and exchange ideas.
And I'll probably attend the first cabinet meeting, but if anyone else would like to attend one of those meetings on behalf of the commission, let me know. And if you have any particular items that you want me to present to that meeting on behalf of the commission, let me know. I'll make up a little list of things that we're doing and that are kind of hot issues right now for us and the amount of work we're doing and so on. But if any of you have anything you want me to take to that meeting, let me know. Commission staff reports and requests. Just one thing, I think that the Biltmore Hotel is coming down. If I'm not mistaken, I think there was a court hearing on, just to report to the commission, there was a court hearing on Monday, and the application to the court to delay the demolition was denied, and I think that the demolition started on Monday. So
It did.
I think it's down.
maybe now probably down, yeah, because it was. So anyway, just a report on that, and I think that that's going to hopefully get that site cleaned up and help that neighborhood. Anybody else got anything they want to report? Yes.
I mentioned it during the meeting as far as our architectural approval items. I'd really like to have a little map included on, I've only lived in this town nearly 40 years, but there were some places over the weekend that I couldn't find, and if we had a little map or something, it really would have helped. Also, probably just another reason why I don't like to have those type of signs anymore is that the Trinidad and the Travelodge have applications for help and rooms to rent on their signs right now, and I know that they were never approved to be used for those purposes. And I've mentioned it before about the Travelodge, but now the Trinidad has theirs up too.
Just so you commission knows, we do have hotel rate signs provision in our zoning ordinance, and they have to comply with very strict requirements to have anything relative to rates. And, certainly that message board was not intended to be an advertisement for rooms for rent. It was intended to be advertising for activities.
Right, no,
So
the
we'll-
advertisement is that there's positions available at the Travelodge, and at the Trinidad, it has daily, weekly, and monthly rentals available sign, and,
We'll go out and take a look.
thank you.
Anything else? Mr. Evans?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The Planning Commission is sending a contingent to the California chapter of the American Planning Association Conference in Santa Barbara. Commissioner Grentz and Commissioner Hokenadel are going to go up.
Oh, good, great.
This is really probably the best planning conference put on. League of California Cities does one that's geared towards planning commissioners. This one's actually geared towards commissioners, staff, elected officials, but really a bit more technical than the league conference. So they should have some real good workshops to go to, a really a nice community to visit. So we should bring some ideas back. I will also be up there. The city is going to be the host of the 2004 APA conference. And so, yeah. So I will be up there manning the table, pitch in Palm Springs next week, and we hope to bring about 1,000 planners to Palm Springs next year. And we always seem to do as well or better than any other place when we look at numbers. So people always seem to like to come here. San Diego had 1,000 last year, and we're hoping we could beat 1,000. They will not get 1,000 people to Santa Barbara because of transportation. It's just a more difficult location for everybody to get to because of air travel. But more than telling you where we're going to be, next week's study session. The three of us will be traveling back starting sometime Wednesday. So my suggestion is that we have a 4 p.m. study session, that we limit it to 2 items as far as discussion. One is the revised architectural approval ordinance. The other one would be the Hillside Development Ordinance, and then I'll just give you an update on the steering committee from tomorrow. That we just focus on those items, try to get them hashed out next week. And if it's the commission's pleasure, I would like to notice the meeting as a joint meeting with the design review group. Invite all the members that have participated so we can have one meeting and discuss design review because we're really going to change the format of appointments, roles a little bit, still with the same objective to get well-designed projects, but a little bit different process. But if that's the commission's pleasure, we're going to notice it for 4 o'clock, and that way we should be able to be back and see some of the conference in the morning.
Okay, good. I think that's a good idea.
Just for the record, Mr. Chairman, I have another commitment for the Association of California Healthcare Districts, so I won't be at the October 1st meeting.
And also for the record, I unfortunately will not be there. And I'm very interested in design review, so maybe I could write my comments and submit them.
So that's next Wednesday at 4 o'clock.
Next Wednesday at 4.
All right.
So you might not, will we have a quorum?
Or when you guys arrive back, you will.
You guys will be fine.
By 4 o'clock?
We're not going to be able to stay until noon, so the thought would be that we're going to have to leave mid-morning.
Okay, so we'll see everybody at 4 o'clock next Wednesday for our study session. And we'll miss Mark and we'll miss Tracy, but we'll just plow ahead. With that, anybody else got anything? Meeting is adjourned.